AI is coming for almost half the world's jobs, and in advanced economies, it's even up to 60%. The popular answer? Universal basic income. Elon Musk and Sam Altman, Bill Gates call it inevitable. The UBI is not a career plan, it's just a payout for people who don't really own AI. That's what it is. And today we're going to discuss why UBI is a dead end and why owning a piece of AI and running your agents may be the only way out of the recipient class. So, welcome to the control loop.
Yeah, Daria, absolutely correct. There has been a lot of noise about UBI. UBI is the answer. Sam Altman said that UBI is the answer for job loss. And while I have my own opinions why it is miserable, but why do you call it miserable?
I mean, in my opinion, if we even just set aside the things that people also crave meaning to their life and to what they do, let's just set those psychological things aside. But even if you just look at the numbers, it would lock you into like a survival mode. It will give you a bare minimum to like, not die, but that's basically it. But then on the other hand, if you look at the owners on the top, like Elon Musk and Sam Altman and all those other people who own the AI, they will be just compounding wealth exponentially. So if you assume UBI at like $1,000 a month in the US would cost almost $4 trillion a year, which is currently more than a whole federal budget. So this would mean that the payouts will always be small, fixed, and prone to inflation. And then you compare this to the AI output, and it's doubling. It has been doubling almost every 18 to 24 months for now. So owners of the AI will get income at exponential rate, while the recipients, people on the bottom, would be getting for crumbs just cost of living. Maltman has been saying that like redistribution is inevitable, but redistribution of just AI proceedings without actual ownership would be just economic like hospice, basically. So people in the world of today have to choose whether to be like a stipend recipient or whether to try to own the intelligence. And so what I have been and we have been building here at Eterna X is to try to get more people to join the owner class and have a more honorable living.
This is what we have been talking about, and people have been, kind of paying attention to this. Is that owners of tomorrow will have a larger chunk of the AI economy tomorrow, whereas the workers will keep on, their income streams will keep on diminishing, and eventually they'll be just kind of landlocked into this 100 per month UBI, which is being suggested by the people. So it's like nothing. Uh, so what happens to the graduates, Daria? Like this is the new reality. So people graduating from the colleges, they are really, they don't know what they're really studying for and what is going to be the job markets of tomorrow. So what would your take be on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not envious of these poor young folks. The numbers are staggering. Like India alone produces about like 2.5 million science and engineering graduates like a year. China is almost around that number as well. The US alone produces like 900,000 or something. And then if you look at those numbers and then you hear people like McKinsey saying that like 400 million people will gonna have to switch their occupations in the next 5 years, it makes you think like what are all those people gonna do if AI is gonna replace like this white collar jobs that most of them have been doing? If you retrain those people, which is what like government programs have been doing, you basically set them up for failure for next 5 years, 10 years. Are you gonna like retrain them indefinitely? Because they would be just placing people into like next replaceable spot. People like Vinod Khosla say that college is becoming irrelevant like faster than people think, and that is true, and we're going to see the consequences of this pretty soon already of people who are graduating today. So but universal basic income is not going to fix like this oversupply of people who are studying currently and going to have to get a living for their jobs, for their skills that they have learned. But AI can actually close that gap. And agents that are running like 24/7 and doing things can close that gap. And on the platform that we're building, you'll be able to launch one in minutes and give it more experience, give it more knowledge that you have learned, and work together to actually be a part of AI economy that's gonna cover the whole like software and services market.
Oh, very true, Daria. I think this has been, concern for me as well. A lot of people like Mr. Vinod Khosla has already said the colleges will become irrelevant faster than people are thinking. And McKinsey says 400 million workers need to switch occupation by 2030. Where will these people go? Where will the graduates go? There is no answer that anybody is providing. I have been listening a lot of people just saying UBI can be one of the solutions, but they are not stressing exactly how UBI is going to solve that. And even if UBI is one of the most prominent solutions out there, so this has been a problem. While the changes of AI have been happening so rapidly over the period, the there has been no concern shown on the workers or the people who is the working class. What will they do? How will they earn how will they earn tomorrow? So to that point, you I have seen you have been stressing a lot upon, that AI will split the society into two classes. What exactly do you mean by that?
Yeah, yeah. Mm, that is correct. I have been saying that. I guess I wanted to also mention that UBI is not the whole solution. It is shown in the research that UBI can reduce like depression and anxiety if you give people just enough for them to survive, but it's not giving them the life that they deserve and is not giving them meaning. So what I have been saying about two classes is like owner class and recipient class, where owners are like on top of the AI supply chain, and recipients are like basically everybody else. And if you look at the word like off today, without AI hasn't been even taken off too much. Already the top 10% of the people own like three-quarters of capital assets. And AI is going to make that gap even worse. It's going to make it lethal for most of the people. So the owner class is the class that like deploys AI, and they're going to keep doing that. They're going to deploy these agents that are going to run 24/7, work for them when they sleep, reinvest their profits into more things that's going to run even more, and basically go off higher and higher. Well, the recipient class is just going to leave on like fixed stipends and the breadcrumbs and like payouts to like not die and lose value every year basically. So the gap is going to be compounding and has been compounding already, but it's going to get worse. If you can see like early like Bitcoin miners have only just paid for electricity versus people who are buying today, the gap is enormous. So your choice is basically simple. You have very limited time to try to get into the upper class of owners of AI. Even if you won't get to the like top 1% richest people in the world, you still want to be above the bare minimum that almost everybody else is get. And I think you have max of like 2 years to get there.
Pretty true, Daria. I think what we have been seeing is like the currently like 76% of the capital assets is being owned by only 10% of the individuals across the globe. And this already is a huge gap between the owners and the workers. And with AI, this gap is increasing much more rapidly. So I think as soon as people understand that they have to own the agents of tomorrow and they have to own the agent economy of tomorrow, they'll fall behind. So uh, for degree holders, why is UBI especially damaging? People getting into the colleges, and you ask and you tell them today, okay, sorry, there is no job for you. Please, your degrees are not relevant enough. The colleges are not relevant enough, and just take the UBI. So what are your thoughts on that?
One is that there is no clear mechanisms of how UBI is going to be assigned, and there is no sign that is you're going to get more just because you have a degree. Probably not. In the US, the degree is also leaving you in debt, so you're you're worse off even if you're going to get the same as everybody else. So people who have already spent years on getting a degree are not going to get a payout on the time or the money they spend, are basically not going to get even a chance to apply what they learned into a job. So for people like engineers, like MBAs, PhDs, they're probably going to get like the same stipend and somebody who just finished high school. So today, if you already look at the workforce, or like especially like the office workers, like 60% of them are disengaged from their career. And if you're going to remove the word career out of it, you're just going to leave like some manual work to do. If you don't have a ladder, if you don't have a path to grow, I'm pretty sure that these engagements are going to become completely permanent for everybody. So in the AI era, your credentials stop really meaning anything because you cannot outwork an AI. You can outwork maybe your fellow human, but he's also not going to be relevant either. So without ownership of what you're doing, you're like losing both prestige and income. And for recent graduates, you're losing it even before you even get a chance to get it.
Yeah, true, true, Daria. I think we already are seeing a lot of college graduates, and there was a sense of, I would say, prestige and income that was attached to degrees, and now I think with coming of AI, it is a complete de-alignment of those things with the income. So yeah, there's something that people and especially the graduates need to think about, and it is alarming for them to right now graduate without an ownership. So, and the one surprising thing about this is, Daria, is the solution for this is also coming from billionaires who have been owning the asset from the internet era billionaires, and then this is the AI era billionaires. So I see the world in these two segments, and the solution for job loss is also coming from the billionaires of the internet era who will again become trillionaires of the AI era. And their suggestion was like this was suggested by Bill Gates is that we can put a robot tax to fund UBI. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, sure, we can put a robot tax to fund UBI. It's going to increase the pool of cash in the UBI pool. So that's like a good thing. But it still doesn't change that. In fact, it's UBI and it's just some cash and it's not equity in like the robots. So like, yeah, we probably should tax that and get more money into people's stipends. It's not gonna help fix any of the problems that I have listed so far. So even if like taxed, AI-driven firms are gonna reinvest whatever profits they have after the tax into like more automation that's gonna replace more people, and the owners are gonna still win the compounding game. Maybe you just take a little off that compounding, still compounding overtakes any linear inflation. So wealth is usually built through equity, not like payouts, not entitlements. We cannot tax our way into the owner class. We can try to do something today and start getting there and start running our own agents that are going to work as we sleep instead of just spending your own time for some payouts or just UBI that doesn't even require you to spend your own time doing anything.
This is very rightly put. I think the billionaires and the trillionaires of the world should stop preaching about income redistribution. That is for sure. So I think this is the time when the people should wake up and they should choose for themselves what is best. And I think owning the AI is the best case that they can do for themselves. So why is this urgency, Daria? Why are we having these podcasts? Why are we informing our users about these? Can't people just wait and say, okay, let me see AI, what will happen in next 1 year or 2 years down the line? Let me wait for the AGI to come or the ASI to come, and then I'll see whether I need these things or not.
I mean, if you look at the how AGI's AI has been developing so far, like I have personally started using GVDs in 2022, so it's already been 3 years, and most of the people have not catch up yet. So we can keep saying that yes, you are still early. It is true, but it is more closely and closely getting a little too late to jump on this train. It's already been very, very long in development, and today we're going already starting to see layoffs due to AI. We're already starting to see people like designers, copywriters, people in HR, people in law. Well, not in law, maybe not yet, but like in like base positions being already replaced by AI. So like if not now, very, very short, it's going to be too soon. I would prepare like 2027 max. So history has always rewarded early adopters. Again, to bring up the Bitcoin mining thing, they have paid nothing for the Bitcoins that are now worth, more than 100K. Is a lot more than anything that they have paid for electricity. So if you look at early YouTube creators, they have done videos that by the quality measures of today are perfect slap, but they still dominate the traffic and their income has been way above everybody else who's creating YouTube videos of today. So in the world of tomorrow, there's going to be driven by an agent economy. The first movers will get the highest yield templates. They will get more time to experiment. They will get more time to perfect whatever they're doing, and they will get more early lower hanging fruit that there is to capture. So the earliest network effects is going to flow to them. More people are going to look at them. More agents are going to do what they do and try to collaborate. And whatever scarcity of what they're going to capture today is going to appreciate over time, like with Bitcoin or YouTube views or whatever attention that is out there on the internet. So if you're going to just wait, you're still going to have to run agents later, but then it's going to be somebody else who built them and who's going to like get you their fees and commission for you, allowing you to use them, and they are going to be the owner class who's going to take the best fruits out of whatever you are running for an agent if you just get to get the payout. So like the earlier you can get into anything, the better it is for you in the end. And if whatever's time you're looking to, oh, what I should be doing, what's going to be my next job, you better invest those time in learning about AI and agents and how they can do most of the work.
Very true, Daria. I think this is right in the center of the concept that and this from the Web3, we the Web3 people know this exactly, that in 2020 2010 Bitcoin was treated as scam. Newspapers were calling it a scam, rug pull and whatnot. And now it is, people are investing in MicroStrategy as a digital asset treasury, and then people are investing in Bitcoin ETFs, and they are getting it at 60K, which they could have got at say $1. So yeah, I leave the choice to the users, because the early adopters, especially in the case of any technology, are the winners. And this is a proven technology. AI is a proven technology. Blockchain is a proven technology, and AI as a AI economy or agent economy cannot be refuted today. So this is going to happen, and people, and they have to be part of this. If not today, then probably 2 years later. But then you lose on the profits, you lose on the network effect, and you absolutely, then you are fighting for the crumbs. We have been talking about the agent ownership today, and what does agent ownership mean in practice for our users to understand?
So an agent is, in the end of the day, a piece of software, but it is a piece of software that can, run indefinitely because it doesn't need to eat, it doesn't need to sleep, unlike the human worker. But an agent is like a tireless worker that can do any action in milliseconds to seconds. And it can scale instantly because it's a piece of software. You can just copy it and you can deploy it again, and you can deploy it again, and you can deploy it again, as long as you have the hardware to actually run it. So there is going to be that we are building also templates for agents to do some specific things. For instance, like they trade, or they place bets on prediction markets, or they try to find yield in DeFi protocols, or they do something else, they generate pictures, or they provide answers to some very specific scientific questions. All of that is going to have a template for an agent that can do a task very well, that you can automate it and you can do it whatever time of the day. So you would be able to pick a template for an agent that, let's say, trades and places bets on like predictions of the events. So you pick a template, one click, you would give it some initial funding for whatever like disposable income that you have in like EDX or like AI credits, and you would start seeing it doing actions on chain completely autonomously, and you'll start seeing it trying to compound whatever initial funding you get. And obviously, like the more you give it, the more freedom it has, but you'll be able to see its actions even with whatever you give it. So the revenue from whatever your agent has earned is going to be completely flowing to its wallet that you could, as the owner, withdraw at any time with any limits that you have. So this is kind of like your automated worker that you don't need to have on payroll. You don't need to have any HR. It doesn't have any burnout, just income plus spend on like whatever actions it needs to actually do. So that's like the ownership in AI economy. You can have this worker that does things where you don't have to be doing anything, which is kind of like what uh, a lot of owners of the AI models actually doing.
Yeah, no, very true. Like I like your last statement is that, that's like it is no payroll, no HR, no burnout. It is just pure income that flows to you, your own wallet, and that's the ownership of AI economy of tomorrow. So essentially, like you own the entire stream, and you anyways are not working because AI is doing all the tasks. But now you are an owner of an AI economy, so you get streams of income from that. It's true, very true, Arya. I think this is very well put out. Uh, I know we have touched about this one thing, and I'll circle back on this, is like why I believe that UBI is structurally doomed to fall behind. I would love to hear your thoughts. Why do you think that that's the case?
I mean, just look at the mass. Like if UBI is provided by like the government or the government plus like AI companies, it's still gonna be linear and it's gonna rise with the inflation, whatever the inflation is. So it's never going to like break out because there's no intrinsic value that it can compound. Whilst AI is exponential. I've already seen like AI growing faster than GDP in whatever's market caps it is acquiring. So you cannot like with a linear line outpace the exponential. There's like it's against the laws of mass. So even AI capability can grow like 40% in a year, UBI can grow like two, maybe four in like annually monetizable output. Like there's just no way to overtake it. So the owners then of AI is going to also take whatever that compounded and reinvest its yields into like more agents that are working tirelessly, and it's just going to snowball. And the recipients of UBI are just going to treat water. So yeah, the gap is widening and it's going to be widening fast. And if you are not compounding, you're falling behind.
I think this is pretty. The compounding of the intelligence and compounding of the intelligence driven income is what is a bigger challenge for the AI economy of tomorrow, and UBI just cannot compete on that front. Uh, but Daria, do you think there is we believe that there is one more hidden cost, which is the cost of relying on UBI besides the money part and the income part. What is that uh, cost?
Yeah, his studies of actual giving UBI to people without giving them things to do has shown that it leads to like anxiety, depression, gives you purpose loss, it gives you status loss, it gives you identity loss. If everybody's the same and everybody's earning the same and nobody has to do anything, people don't see meaning in their day-to-days. People want to be useful. People obviously, it is important to give people some basis so they are able to afford the necessities, but it's just not enough. People want to feel purpose and people want to feel that whatever they are doing is actually giving anything useful to themselves, to their community, to the world in general. And UBI doesn't take that into account. So, like Harvard research shows that unemployment, even with like replacing income, causes mental health decline, your brain like physically dies off if it's not doing anything. So it like ossifies. It becomes a useless mass. And UBI takes you out of the loop of creating
Yeah,
value. You're just like a passive consumer of the outputs of somebody
yeah,
else. It's like if you remember that cartoon Wall-E, they're just like all those whales looking at cartoons whole day. Maybe we're not gonna be whales because now we have
yeah,
Ozempic,
yeah,
but still just consuming TV and outputs of other things. But if you look at the bright side, like the ownership
yeah,
can keep you in the loop because you're more engaged with whatever your agent doing. You're trying to give tips, you can do things, and you can at the same time go do more useful things like gardening and actually growing produce. And yeah, because I live in Italy, I've seen people doing that. And it can keep you with your agency. It can keep your status intact. It can give you control. So it's much more even psychologically brighter to think about.
yeah, definitely, Daria. You have kind of summarized it in a much more simpler sense. Since the dawn of capitalism, this kind of an economy where there is a prestige in the degrees, there is a prestige in education, working class, different tiers of working class. There has always been a purpose attached and the prestige attached to the jobs that people have been doing, and there has been always an effort that has gone into to earn that prestige from the very child. I come from India. There are like billions of students who just do this. So this is something which is a much drastic shift. And it was, I can tell you from my experience, it was education and working was a class shift mechanism for many people. And you are taking that away from people using AI and leaving them with nothing to actually fight for or fight with. So this is something which is highly, highly critical. So yeah, I mean, Daria, what are your closing thoughts on this?
Well, for one, I just wanted to agree with you because yes, education and like your ability to outwork your peers, however that sounds, has been a great way to moving classes up. But you cannot outwork AI. Even the most hardworking human that has outworked their peers so far cannot outwork a GPU. So that's just it, physical limits. But they can own it, and they can own whatever the proceeds of AI and their agents for them. So this is what we're working for. This is what EternaX is built for, to turn you from like a basic stipend recipient into actually an owner of an agent with like real income and real compounding for whatever that agent does. So we are trying to form an owner class out of our users, and we have the waitlist open on our website. So you just gotta choose which side you're gonna be on, and stay tuned for whatever next discussions we're going to have on the control loop and our guests.
Thank you, Daria, for this wonderful podcast. And for our users, please be tuned in, subscribe our channel. We have a Twitter account as well. You can subscribe us there as well for all our latest podcasts. We will be covering all the topics around the agentic economy, and we are at the forefront of it. Would love to bring you as well on the forefront of this economy so that you can be the early adopters and the massive earners of tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.